All right, Cancer, so it's you this week. But I feel like between the two of them, I need to tell you not to settle. So from Le Vampire, Primal, connecting deep within, sacred dance and instinct, and then discovery from chakra wisdom. Like I've always said, when it comes to Primal, this is my going out and having a good time card, but this is about the nightlife. And that's because the card describes tapping into the primal part of yourself and expressing that through dance. But when you do that, you're attracting attention. So with discovery being next to this, I feel like this is where not settling is coming in, because it's talking about, are you trying to recapture a past that no longer fits? You may be seeking to keep something far less than what you deserve, right? It's about leaving the past behind, venturing into new territory, a new level of self-care here. It kind of has the feeling of attracting the same shit over and over again, and you needing to open up your eyes and say, no, this isn't worthy of me anymore. Here's your overall for the week. Oh, shit. All right. And I love this Eight of Cups. I think it's so beautiful. But I look at this, and this one for me feels more like let's venture into the unknown, right? That new territory. But clearly here, this is about a situation that you have spent a lot of time with that is no longer fulfilling you, right? It's time now. It's time to move on. Time to move on into the unknown. But here, I always hope that things are better. But the hard thing with the Eight of Cups is the feeling of abandonment. Are you just walking away from something without trying? Oh boy. I'm telling you, sometime this week I'll be able to spit out what I'm trying to say. Past coming through, son of a bitch. The moon. I don't see clarity with this. It's needing to pay attention to your instincts in order to get to that clarity. Absolutely. And there is the opportunity to pull beauty out of the darkness, which is what I love about the moon. But, it's being confused about a situation, having illusion cast on you, you seeing things from a distorted perspective, unrealistic anxieties and fears here. But that's only because the situation isn't clear, and is this being put on you, or is it because you're choosing not to see things clearly, Oh boy, in the present, the Two of Pentacles. I don't really feel like this is about flexibility here. I think it's you not really being sure about a situation that you're still trying to balance out with everything else. But at what point here do you get to this place where you feel like it's not going to give you what you need or want anymore? Especially if there's not a whole lot of clarity about why you're doing this or why you feel like this about what you're spending so much time with, because you're right now trying to keep it going. But why? Future conditions, the Six of Wands. Cancer. Absolutely, with the Six of Wands being in future conditions here, if you walk away, you may feel like you are doing the right thing, right? Definitely the recognition for doing a job well done, doing, the right thing for you. Victory. But, I always question when it comes to the Eight of Cups, are you actually moving on? With this one, I feel like you are, or at least you're trying to here. But with the Six of Wands, is it not that easy because of the attention that you're getting that you may not, have a whole lot of clarity on, but yet you want to keep it going though? I don't know about this one. I get a funny feeling from it, but, we'll see, right? Oh, shit. Cancer. Your best path to follow, the Nine of Swords. What I'm going to tell you here is, and this is what I love about this one. You see the owl. The owl to me represents that wisdom, that inner knowledge and understanding that is being pushed down by this damn sword because all of these other thoughts have control right now. It's fear, it's anxiety, it's negative thinking the worst in a situation. But the thing is if you're already thinking about all of the negative things and letting that take hold, then why are you continuing to do this? Because you already come in with confusion and not having a whole lot of clarity, but yet you're wanting to keep it going. But why? Is it because you like the attention? You know what I'm saying? And I hate to put it that way, but I feel funny about this. And with this being your advice, Whatever this situation is, it's no good anymore. You know, if you want to feel like you're doing the right thing, then it is time to move on from this, you know, and no longer try to make it a part of, you know, your experience, especially if it's not worthy of you, right? Quit trying to figure it out or try to keep it going. Wow, Cancer, what the hell? Okay. In your environment, the Queen of Wands, you know, and like I said, when it comes to court cards, fire sign, possibly, but that doesn't mean anything to me because it could be anywhere in somebody's chart. If we're talking about you, it may be because of a person around you, but if you're looking at the Queen of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, you may be trying to keep this going because it makes you feel good, right? Think about the Queen of Wands. In a positive aspect, absolutely. She's super exciting. She's fun to be around. She knows how to manage her shit. There's this mystical air about her. You know, she attracts attention, right? But are you enjoying that kind of attention, but it not being very clear, not being, you know, good enough almost? Because it's not fulfilling. You know, does this situation make you feel good in a way where you feel like you need to continue to figure it out? You know, whoever or whatever you're dealing with, I think that, you know, on some level it makes you feel good, but with the moon and the Eight of Cups being there, you know, it's all of it's distorted. You're not seeing it clearly, you know, but I don't think that right now you want to, but the problem is that you're going to move into a place, I feel like, where, you know, that uncertainty is going to take hold. And maybe you think about moving on from this and stop trying to work it out, you know. Oh boy. Hopes and fears, the Ten of Pentacles. Now, I don't necessarily feel like this has to do with a money situation. I mean, you know, absolutely with the Two of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles, you could be saying that, but I don't think that that's it. I think that we're talking about, you know, security and stability and hoping for that and wanting something long term. I think that that's what you're wanting from this situation. But I don't think that that's something that you're going to get. You know, and if you already have security and stability, how is this disrupting that? You know, and I say that because of what I'm looking at here. This to me feels like somebody who is not being very clear with you on their intentions because they don't even know what the hell they want. But yet you're the one that's still trying to keep it going. But you're thinking and fearing the worst on this because you're not really seeing anything. You know, especially if you're investing all of this emotion and time into it and feeling like, well, you know, it's not giving me what I want anymore. You may like the attention, but you know it's not going to be something that's going to be long term. Man, wow. And yeah, this is not worthy of you. Oh, and then coming out, Judgment. Damn. Now, definitely lining up here. With Judgment coming out on this, it could be that you finally, you know, see, right? Like discovery, I go back to that. You finally see. You finally understand, you review the situation, and now it's time to lay it to rest, right? And with the Six of Wands, we could be saying here that, you know, you're getting victory over this, and you're no longer trying to keep this going, no matter how good it makes you feel, or no matter how much attraction there may be to a person. All right. With the Eight of Pentacles, looking at the moon and the Eight of Cups, you've put a lot into this, You've put your entire focus on this and put so much into this just to have uncertainty all the way around you. Now, if this is a work situation, it's like not even knowing why you're busting your ass, you know, because you're left in a place here where you're trying to figure things out with the Two of Pentacles. I mean, you know, and are you getting the recognition you deserve? Now, but I think that this is something a little bit deeper than this, and I think it has to do with a person. With the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands, you know, this is, you need to open your eyes. You need to open your eyes, and you need to make that difficult choice to move on. because it's right there. This is the central thing going on with the Eight of Cups, but you have to make the choice to do this. But, you know, the only way that you're going to feel all right with doing this is if you review the entire situation and make the difficult choice to move on and to stop putting so much into something that doesn't have any certainty to it, or a person that doesn't know what the hell they want. Now, with the Nine of Pentacles coming out, you're fine. You are fine. You are going to be fine on your own. You don't need to be a part of this situation anymore. You know, you need to do what is right for you to get to a point where you feel secure on your own. Because I don't think that being involved with this person in this situation, whatever it is not going to bring you anything long term. You know, I think that you're going to be fine. And I think for you, you may get to a point where you're no longer willing to put in so much effort into something that, you know, is not certain. You know, especially if we're talking about a relationship here. Wow, Cancer. But I don't like that Nine of Swords. The thing is you know better. It's like you know better. But those thoughts that are taking hold, I don't think are irrational. I think that if you had clarity on, you know, what you were dealing with in the first place, you wouldn't be fearing the worst on the situation. And it's because you are the only one trying to keep the situation going. And then flourish. If you take action, you will flourish. You're going to have to go through a transformation here. And that starts by taking the action to move on, to walk away, to stop putting in so much effort. But once you do that, you will flourish. You will flourish, but it will be on your own. But that's okay because you're good. You're good. I feel like if this is about you, no matter what happens here, you may have a lot of attention being attracted to you. But the thing is if we're discovering now that you are more than what you think you are, then with the Nine of Pentacles, you don't need it. You're good. You're golden. You have what you need, right? You need to maintain your own independence. But you have to make the choice to do this, right? And make the choice to act. But flourish coming out of this, I feel good about. And then express love through gifts. Giving a small token to someone expresses your love to them. So, you know, and this to me is saying that if this is about a relationship here, right? And if it is about two different people, which could be a possibility, you know, you have the right to choose where you place your love. And when you do that, then there's a need here to express that to somebody else. You know, but I look at this and think you have a choice here. If you have a choice, then, you know, what is it about this situation that makes you think that, you know, you need to continue keeping it going? You know? I just think that, you know, for those of you who are feeling this way and feeling uncertain, it is time for you to move on. It's time to, you know, look at the situation, review who you have been through this entire process here, lay it all to rest and move on. You know, but if you have a choice here, place your love where it will be returned to you, right? And then that's where you get to open up and express that through a gift. But quit pushing down that wisdom that you know is there.